Welcome back to Courtroom Conversations on the Classic Courtroom YouTube channel. Today, we're diving into a case that's got everyone talking. Apple, you know the company, that practically built its brand on privacy, just settled a lawsuit, alleging they were, eavesdropping.
Oh, wow.
Kind of throws a wrench in their whole privacy is a fundamental human right motto, wouldn't you say?
It certainly raises some interesting questions about the trade-offs we make in the digital age.
And here's the kicker. If you owned an iPhone or other Apple device between September 2014 and the end of last year, you might be eligible for a piece of a $95 million pie. But before we get into all that, I'm Dylan Brooks Hamilton.
And I'm Susan Kelly Ashford. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the legal battle shaping our world. Now, this case has a lot of people scratching their heads. Apple settling. Despite denying any wrongdoing, what's the strategy there?
It seems counterintuitive. So for those who haven't been glued to this story, Apple was accused of Siri secretly recording conversations. Even when users didn't say, "Hey Siri," instead of just waiting for the prompt, it allegedly was activating on its own. And those recordings were reportedly used for targeted advertising. Imagine thinking you're having a private conversation, and it ends up being data points for an algorithm.
It's a stark reminder that convenience often comes at a cost. And the lawsuit claimed this wasn't just a few isolated incidents. We're talking about iPhones and other Apple devices from September 17, 2014 onwards, potentially tens of millions of users.
Wow, that's a huge scope. No wonder this settlement is making waves. But could you walk us through the legal strategy behind Apple settling a case they claim to have no liability in? Why not fight it out in court if they're so confident?
Well, legal battles are expensive and unpredictable, even if Apple believed they would ultimately win. A trial could drag on for years, racking up enormous legal fees and generating negative publicity the whole time. That kind of reputational damage can be hard to shake off, even with a victory in court. Settling allows them to control the narrative to some extent and potentially limit the financial and reputational fallout.
So it's a calculated risk, a gamble that paying out now will save them more trouble down the road.
Exactly. And $95 million, while a substantial sum, is actually a relatively small price to pay for a company of Apple's size, especially when you consider the potential cost of a drawn-out legal battle and a potential loss in court.
That makes sense. So what does this mean for someone like me, an average iPhone user? Who might have been affected? What's the tangible outcome here?
Well, eligible individuals could receive up to $20 per device, with a maximum claim for 5 devices, however. Realistically, we expect the claim rate to be quite low, maybe only 3 to 5%.
Why so few? If millions of people were potentially affected, why wouldn't they all jump at the chance for some payback?
It often comes down to a few factors. Many people might not even be aware of the settlement. Others might find the claims process too much of a hassle for a relatively small payout. And some might feel that the privacy violation wasn't significant enough to warrant action.
That's interesting. It highlights the complexities of these kinds of situations. We often talk about data privacy in abstract terms, but when it comes down to taking individual action, the motivation isn't always there.
Absolutely. It makes you think about how much we value our privacy in concrete terms versus how much we're willing to tolerate for convenience.
Definitely. And it's worth noting that, as with many class action lawsuits, the lawyers who brought this case stand to gain a significant portion of the settlement, up to $29.6 million.
Right. It's important to remember that even in cases where consumers benefit, there are often other interests at play.
Well, this case certainly gives us a lot to think about. It highlights the often invisible ways our data is collected and used, and it raises questions about the compromises we make in the name of convenience.
It does. This case is a reminder that the conversation about technology, privacy, and personal data is far from over. As technology continues to evolve, we need to be more aware than ever of the potential implications for our privacy and make informed choices about the data we share and the devices we use. What choices are you willing to make? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And of course, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Classic Courtroom for more deep dives into the legal cases that matter. Until next time.